6 o'clock, let's bring the meeting to order. Gonna review minutes for January 17th meeting, which is right there.
I'll move to approve the minutes for January 17th.
Second.
Okay, discussion, any changes,
Yeah,
concerns, problems? Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Adjustments to the agenda. The only thing I had, Philip had mentioned doing an executive for the fire department for, personnel. So we'll add that to the, after the other one, I guess, if you guys are good with that.
Sure.
Yep.
Perfect.
We need to sign the Woodsville ambulance contract. We got that email about it, so that's right here.
So this year it's a little different. I have to pay 3 different installments, so not like one chunk. So the first one isn't due, I don't think until June 1st or July 1st.
Okay.
But the contract was due, the first part of the year, so. There's 2 copies, one for us.
That way it doesn't seem as bad if they break it up.
I think so.
Such a big check.
It's bad when they make installment options.
Yeah. That's for sure.
We have to sign 2 places on that? It's,
Yeah,
There's 2 different ones.
it's 2
2
different ones?
copies, one for us and one for them.
Okay. Can't remember what it was just a second ago.
Hasn't changed. What is it, 7?
7th.
All day long, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
So contract is good. Now,
Thank you.
you sign. Next thing was select board qualifications, conflict of interest, policy review, which, I had talked to Lisa about, something, we don't really have anything.
I think one part of it is still in.
It's 2 pages.
2 pages.
We don't really have anything as far as the select board is concerned.
It is your responsibility.
Yeah.
I only have one.
I only have one.
Yeah, I only got one.
Oh, I didn't make copies for everybody. There should only be.
Okay.
Did you
Well,
make
there's one
copies?
copy of
Oh,
that
I
says-
didn't make
I
copies.
did 3 of the one,
Oh,
just
I did.
Oh,
easier for
okay.
them to read.
So just something to discuss.
Yep.
Moving forward for multiple positions in a town and being a selectman and so on and so forth, and responsibilities and duties, per selectman because we don't really have anything that says anything.
No, I think the Vermont statutes is what we would fall
Right.
back on.
So,
Yeah,
but-
duties and obligations.
I didn't think it was a bad idea to have a, kind of our own policy and procedures per town, per our town, what we expect and don't expect, and kind of, there's multiple, if you're a selectman, you're a selectman, but you're not like 10 other things too, on top of that. just conflicts of interest was kind of the thought of that, so that was for review, to discuss and think what we could do or should do, or
Yeah,
type of thing. And we can review them and we can talk about it more at another meeting.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree, I mean, I think it's, especially with the duties and responsibilities of the select board, it's important that it's clearly identified where there are conflicts of interest. And not that it's been an issue in the past, but it's
Right.
something to be
Aware of.
mindful of in the future. Because again, it's, you know, we've got responsibilities for oversight of different, of all of the departments within the municipality. And if, you know, head of one of those departments is also on the select board, it creates a conflict. So that's kind of the,
Right.
you know, I think the principle behind it is to help alleviate that conflict of interest. And it would be different if we had a larger select board, but, and not that we need a larger select board, but, you know, with a 3-person select board, if one person has to recuse themselves from departmental issues because of, you know,
It makes it
their
tough,
relationship, it makes it tough because now we, you know, barely have a quorum for a vote for those
Right.
items.
Right. So,
Yeah, anyway,
we can keep it on the agenda for,
Yeah, I
review
think-
it.
let's review it, I think maybe we vote on it next meeting, and
Okay.
go from there.
Okay, so put it on the agenda for next.
Next meeting. Yep.
Yep.
Did
Did VLCT have anything to say or weigh in on this as well?
Yeah, we've been going back and
Okay, good,
forth,
good, good.
and also, the other piece,
Oh, yeah.
That one, yeah,
Yep.
is some statute stuff and
Great,
stuff right from the handbook and added in.
great. Okay,
all right, next thing is fire department executive session. So personnel is,
Two separate ones,
two separate ones.
will be easier for you guys to go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go up.
personnel issues, is that?
labor relations is
Labor-
one.
Labor relations, okay,
And then labor, no,
Then
medical,
personnel,
then, personnel.
yeah.
Okay, so
So call it in to
6:10.
6:10, all right?
Yeah, 6:10 and then. Okay,
all right.
No problem.
It is kinda chilly down there.
6:42,
What's your cozy up
no
there?
decisions.
We've taken everything under advisement. Maybe we'll get through the rest of the budget. The rest of this
Okay.
30 minutes.
Department updates, highway, we got an email tonight from Harold which said it's been sunny the last few weeks or good weather, and so doing maintenance and getting ready for the Dick Page ride-in.
Oh, that's Saturday. isn't it?
Yeah, cleaning the garage for that. What else? Was there anything else? I think that was pretty much it. Highway, put the wing on the grader and did snow pushback last year. Okay, good. Treasurer. Lisa.
Okay, I don't know if Carrie was gonna mention this or not, but we received the FEMA money from the flood, the spring flood.
The
$7,189, so we
That's
got
awesome.
that.
That was quick.
We got the town report done, and
Yes, and it looks wonderful.
it's all done, and you should all receive it in the mail in 10 days before town meeting, I think is the guideline. So that's a big project done. I'll be processing checks and accounts payable tomorrow this week. If you could possibly stop in before Monday morning so I can mail the checks. I didn't get it done today. That would be helpful. There is a highway hold harmless in the folder that has been updated. I worked with VLCT on it, but they disagree with this policy and felt
Which we've discussed and we
felt it's
know.
not a good use of town equipment, but I still completed it for highway, and they all need to sign off on it. Harold saw it and thought it looked good, so just need your okay to
Okay,
put that in with the policies. I've received that work to do the workers' comp audit that's due at the beginning of March, so that's quite a bit. And then we
Good.
received our audit list, 3 pages of all the documents that they need, so I'll start working on that. I completed a 5-part training series with NIMRIC on general fund. That took, I don't know, about 6 weeks. It was a class every week. And we're gonna start scanning documents into the NIMRIC system, so we probably won't have paper eventually.
okay.
You know, so that would be really great. I don't know if you noticed in my
Scanning
office.
the invoices and the,
Invoices, insurance, things like that can all be scanned into NIMRIC, so
Okay, good.
that would save a lot of paper. And then there's another 6 series part in February and March on payroll, so I'll be starting to work on that. I've only attended 1 of those classes, so just wanted to
Great.
give you an
Thank you.
update.
Thank you.
Yep,
That's, to the LPC, is that?
NIMRIC.
Nick, okay, you probably said that.
Okay, town clerk, Carrie.
I have the dog boarding contract there
Yep,
with Michelle. Pretty much what she does on her boarding side anyway. I have a good copy, I'll leave this for you after.
which one
to
are we
sign.
signing? Does it-
You're gonna sign mine, you can do it after. That, all yours made a line across the top,
Okay,
across this, all the way down it. So
Okay.
I just left you a copy so you can look at it and
right,
agree with
okay.
it. So we'll get that done.
The only real difference with what she would do would just, she wouldn't go pick up dogs, and
Right.
we would have to
She'll
have somebody
she'll keep
specifically.
'em.
She'll
That's
keep
what
them.
we've been doing anyways for
Yeah,
several years now.
yeah,
Right,
yeah, not, in
Nothing's
practice,
really
not,
changed.
yeah, in practice, not a whole lot's changing.
Right.
Gotcha.
I did a few trainings, well, one, I don't really call it a training, it was eclipse planning. Does everyone know that we're gonna have an eclipse
Yeah.
April 8th? So the state is doing all sorts of things for just planning about more people being in the area.
Yeah, so it's globally, it's in this area.
Right.
So they're expecting
Like 3 minutes of dark or something.
an influx
200,000
of,
people.
yes, people
Oh,
to the area.
In Groton. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm kidding.
Campgrounds opening early?
They are, a couple campgrounds are gonna open for viewing.
Yep.
I haven't heard specifics on that yet, but, so they're just talking about it and just making
Yep.
sure.
usually they make a big deal and then it doesn't end up being,
And school is actually getting done at noon that day,
Huh?
because it would be right at the time kids are getting on the bus.
okay.
So, and then they figured people can go do whatever they wanna do to view it, so. So,
Okay.
anyway, that one and some election stuff has been on, some
Are we gonna need
training.
a budget for that?
If you wanna put on a big event, viewing event down in the park.
It's gonna cost us money anyways, cause the
I
lights are
think,
gonna come
I
on.
bet you the library's working on something.
Oh, I do have, the glasses coming. I can't remember how many I put in for, 200 or 300. Supposed to be here before town meeting, so we'll have those to hand out at town meeting.
Okay,
The Eclipse viewing glasses.
We saw one a couple years ago, it's really cool.
Yeah, I saw one, North Carolina, my daughter was, we were moving her in and they were having one down there, and it was really cool.
The sun out though.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's not raining.
It is surreal.
yeah.
oh, that's cool.
I've seen one since I was a kid.
Okay,
So that is that update, and the election training, you know, they're doing some, just obviously it's a big year. And we have the handicap accessible machine, that's always an issue every year, people probably don't even realize we have it, it's the little one, excuse me, that you see set up, but they have to send all programming forward, and you have to test things, and it's really a printer, it's not really doing anything, it's just letting you access the ballot for different handicaps somebody might have, and it's by law, you have to have it set up.
Okay.
And then the regular tabulator will be used, and we'll do testing on that closer, a few more weeks closer to the election.
Okay, great.
And one thing that came across today related to election was the school issue that's happening, all the budgets and everything. So the state is in the process literally right now of possibly passing legislation to let schools have another month to work on their budgets and adjust them and not vote on March 5th and vote later.
That might not be a bad idea, huh?
So I don't know if that would, I don't know if schools can just choose to do that or everyone's gotta do it, so everyone on the MuniNet was talking about it. I did reach out to school. She felt like it couldn't affect them because they're Australian ballot, but from what I read, that didn't matter.
Right.
Other places were, so you know how our school does, the Monday meeting before is voted from the floor for their moderator and clerk and treasurer. So that would all still happen. They just wouldn't have the budget vote the next day, or they might, but this is what the state is doing something so they can extend this, since it's so crazy with how these rates are going up. They're trying to work on getting that figured out, so.
Okay.
So we'll just keep tabs on that, and maybe it'll affect us and maybe it won't, but.
Yeah.
And they even said, because people are sending out absentee ballots for it, they said you just wouldn't, you would X them, they would still be on record, they would still be like public stuff, but you wouldn't,
Count it.
right, it'd just be no election.
Weird.
So yeah, that, and I've only had 6 absentee requests for March 5th so
Okay.
far, for the presidential primary. And Zach went to the BCA.
Yeah, I got my packet here. So the BCA,
Hearing.
it was a hearing, basically to discuss, with the plaintiffs, attorney, basically what they needed for evidence. I don't know if
I haven't
she's
heard
reached
anything,
out.
no.
There's gonna be another one scheduled. I'm gonna wait till she reaches out to see what she needs, but we need to make every document available that we've got that is related to this. The other part of that will be, the potential for, confidential, negotiation prior to the next, check-in hearing. That being said, I need to look at how that would work. Basically, at this point, I'm the authorized representative on the case for the town, so I could probably make those negotiations for the town at this point. Don't need any additional votes or anything like that because of where we are. That being said, if it does go to a full case hearing, obviously there will be witnesses that will have to attend. So John and Dorothy will probably have to attend as part of that process to discuss what was discussed. So anyway, that's kind of where it is now. So we should be getting some sort of correspondence that has scheduled the next.
Yeah,
But they said 60 days, so it'll be sometime in March, I guess.
okay. Yep, I haven't seen anything yet, so.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's kind of the deal with that, and then we'll go from there.
okay.
Okay, good.
Yep.
And I have an update for I guess that could wait down further, but I'll wait on that one. The forest fire warden, I haven't heard anything back from that yet. I gave the state that information. I don't know, I haven't talked to Stephen if they've reached out and had an interview yet.
Okay. Good.
And that's it for that.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Assistant Assessor Dorothy?
Okay, John and I have been working on the data quality study for the statistical reappraisal. We've done 26 visits, we got 9 more to do, so we're hoping to finish them next week, and then have the next week to get everything together. And we've kind of already figured out what our report's gonna be, but then it has to be in like around the 20th, so we're doing pretty good. But between us, we put in over 80 hours on this. Just this, I've been tracking the hours. I mean, it's no, you're gonna see a difference in John's hours, and my hours are just there. But anyway, it's taken a lot of time, and we've had good response to folks that we've talked with. And then I just got notice today that we're gonna have our first training since COVID, in-person training at Lake Maury on February 26th. It's from Nimrick, and it's gonna be, John and I are both gonna go. It's got a lot of the information we're gonna need for doing land schedules and some of the stuff that's gonna need to be updated with the reappraisal. So it's just really, it's great timing. So that'll be like after we get our visits done, before we hear back from the state. And I don't know, I don't have a sense of, we'll get our stuff in as close to February 20th as we can, but then I don't have a sense of when they'll get back to us, but it will not be prior to April 1st. So we're looking at 2025 for at least, to be doing whatever our next step is.
Okay.
So we're good.
Okay.
2025's grand list, you mean?
Yes, 2025 grand list.
Okay.
Yes, because there's yeah, this can't all get done and
April 1st.
updated and everything by April 1st.
Right. Okay.
So it'll be the next grand, at least the next grand list.
Okay.
And then I've got a report that I've been going to give to you gentlemen. It's pretty lengthy, and I've kind of cut it in half already because there's half of it that I don't think you need. But they're looking at, they've already established like a list of towns that are going to be in 6-year increments. So, and we're like in the 7th or 8th group because we've done a reappraisal. So, but nobody can tell me now that we do this in the 2025 grand list, does our 6 years start from then, or where does it start from? Or does it start from 2019?
Okay.
So I don't know, but they've done the initial report, but then they had to be done like in December, but then the final report back to the legislature is next year. So a lot of that is still up in the air.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fire and fast. We got a report on what's going on in the fire department. Engine 1 change ordered and been delivered. Extraction tools, extrication tools, several parts needed to be ordered after the recent truck extrication. The yearly service has been requested to be scheduled. Batteries operated. Scene light has been sent out for repairs. Open house is scheduled for February 20th. Invitations will be mailed out. An ad will be in the Bridge Weekly, and the event will be announced in WYKR. Snow machine drill yearly event will be held February 13th in cooperation with the Buckaroos. Fire station building inspection. I plan to be at the fire station at 8 a.m. on February 21st for the station. And what?
That's the energy audit.
Oh, okay,
They're coming to do the 3 buildings.
Okay, good. Ice rescue training, Grand Isle, 2 to 3 members will be attending the 2-day class, February 23rd and 24th. 2 new ice rescue suits needed to be ordered after town meeting. This is 20-year-old equipment to be replaced. And DART LZ Route 232 Groton Pond area has not been plowed out, which we talked about that, and I don't even know who we reach out to about that. We were just told that.
Who was it? The guy was the one that reached out to us.
Yeah, asking us to do it, and then we.
But it was just the entranceway, right?
Yeah,
Right, but nothing's been done.
No, but I thought somebody said they were volunteering to
That's
do
last I
it.
heard, that we were gonna,
Right.
because they decided to tell them it was the state road, state land, and they were
Ask
already
them.
plowing at
Yeah.
But then somebody volunteered,
Yeah,
Somebody
somebody,
volunteered.
yeah, right.
but nothing's volunteered.
But whoever volunteered hasn't done it yet.
They might not have been voluntold to do it either.
They might not have got told.
So who
they
do
said,
we, how do
okay.
is there anybody?
Well, who was it that we,
I'd reach out to Dick Guy again.
Yeah.
He was the one that reached out to us.
Right,
And he
right.
was the one who told us that somebody stepped up to,
So I think he would know that
I would think.
it's not getting plowed.
You would think so.
Alright, if I see Dick Got, I'll see if I can,
Driving by.
He drives by.
right. Right,
But just having the entrance plowed doesn't do it, because the helicopter can't land if there's snow.
well, technically the helicopter can't land there anyway, so the work the state did is BS, really. They wasted their money because it's not
well,
big
that's a
enough for a
whole different
helicopter.
thing if
Which is a whole
somebody's
nother thing, but
plowing out that whole
that-
thing
yeah.
all the time
Yeah,
and it's
it's
wet in
gonna
there
be-
and it's,
Yeah,
I don't know, that's a whole nother thing. We were told just plow out so the ambulance can get out
Back
to
up in.
there.
yeah,
Just get off
That's
the
all,
road.
that's
Yeah.
all we were told.
yeah.
So maybe we need to do some more, discussion on that.
There's
Is
more,
there-
there's a lot of discussion. that
Can the
needs to be
fire
done with that
department do any
LZ out
more,
there.
figure out, if
If
the helicopter can't land with snow in there, then it's not gonna do any good to plow out.
Yeah,
The helicopter can't land with the way that the landing zone is now
Oh,
on
they
a clear day in June.
yeah.
But
they
it
can't-
did,
yeah,
didn't it? The other,
No, even after they
Oh.
expanded it, it's, again, I don't know who they reached out to or talked to, but it doesn't even meet FAA specifications for landing an aircraft.
Lanesboro on
oh, that's where, okay.
the, you know,
Well, so,
they can go, if something up there, they can do Lanesboro again, or.
I guess there needs to be more discussion and figure out what the plan is. 'Cause
Yeah, well, I
it's
mean,
not a LZ landing
yeah,
if nobody can land there.
I can follow up too, there were some recommendations made through
I
the guy I
remember the
talked to,
trees and the
yeah.
whole thing with
I
the
talked to-
state, but
yeah.
I,
Yeah, they did work before,
40 acres, move it all out, put it close to the road, and you'll have it.
I mean, and well, honestly, what's there isn't too far, but it, like, they only made it 100 feet by 100 feet.
It's terrible.
Like, and the space that's there, there's a creek, or there's a brook that runs down through it. They ditched it right down the middle of it and left the rest of it, like, what, the state wasted money on it, like, and again, like,
We
I
don't
get
need
this
to
is
get into
forest,
big
but
things.
like, well, I know, I went out there, cause somebody said that it had gotten done last summer, I went out
Right.
there and took pictures and
Well, if the
sent them
fire
to my buddy
department
and
wants
said,
to look into more discussion about this, I guess that's where we would need to go with that.
It's not where anyone ever goes to get
Right.
picked up, right?
well,
Where the helicopter
because,
goes.
yeah, we come
Lanesboro
down-
was the last one.
yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
we need to build a platform out there, they can land helicopters on boats. Just saying.
put it on the lake.
So anyways, okay,
Yeah.
moving along. Constable, do we have anything on Constable, Dan?
Mark and I were supposed to be certified by the state police for animal control. That's mandated as of July 1st, 2023.
Okay,
As of right now, they don't even have anyone to teach us the course.
okay.
So we're,
certify yourselves?
I did, I'm certified. I've been told I was certifiable, I'm not sure if that's right.
Okay, fine. So, okay. Well, that's interesting. So, till further notice, I
Till
guess.
further notice, we're flying solo.
Okay. Thank you. Library.
I want to let you guys know about a grant opportunity that the state has. The state set aside $16.4 million from the ARPA funds that they got.
Okay.
So we've known about this grant opportunity for it's specifically for libraries.
And the
library's gonna put
in for one?
And we've been getting ready for it for a year.
Okay.
But they just opened up the application on the 30th of January. Sarah and I both attended a webinar along with 4 members of the Rural Edge team because they own the building.
Right.
What we found out during that webinar is that the grants are going to be in the neighborhood of $300,000 to $1.5 million each, which means fewer
building?
fewer grants, but more can be done. So we expected the grants to be on a much smaller scale, and we had things ready for that. But now the opportunity, it's basically, if you don't submit something that's at least a $300,000 project, you're probably not gonna get considered. So, we're working with Rural Edge.
Oh, good.
It's likely going to be new roof, heating and cooling, ventilation for the building, and then work inside to provide maybe like a telehealth booth. We're looking at expansion off the back. But anyway, I wanted you guys to know about it, that we're on it. We're working with Rural Edge. The application deadline is March 12th. So we have a tight time frame.
Okay.
But Dawn Evans, who's a trustee, and then Sarah Spira are going to be working with Rural Edge to define the project and submit. They will likely be at the next select board meeting to give you further details, because we'll have met with Rural Edge and gotten a better idea of what we're going to submit. But we will be asking for a letter of support from the select board once that gets pulled together.
Which sounds more like Royal Edge project versus library project.
Well, it's because Rural Edge owns the building.
Well, right, but if they didn't,
If they
we would be
didn't,
helping Royal Edge.
But we're looking at possibly expanding the space by creating a 3-season porch on the front.
Okay.
Expanding out the back and creating, because the back of the building doesn't, we still have to deal with the National Historic Registry. But because at the back of the building, we can do more things than.
Which
like
this
the
grant
front.
would be mostly just for upgrades and stuff like that. It's not for staffing and budgets and
It's not for anything that.
it's just expanding and.
Infrastructure only.
Infrastructure, so it would be, possibly more terminals or more private terminals for individual computer work, a booth where you could do telehealth meetings or Zoom calls. We don't have any storage there. The
Right.
only storage is underneath the staircase. And so the plans would include an expansion of storage space as well. But I think we were surprised, I think all the other libraries across the state were surprised too, to find out the scope was in the 300 to 1.5 million. It's gonna be really competitive, but we're gonna put together what we can and submit it. There's another opportunity later for it. There's a $10 million pool, and that's a separate preservation grant, and that opens up in the fall. So if we submit, aren't successful, we'll have the pieces together to, revamp for another submission.
So I got a couple, that's all really great. I'm very supportive of everything with the library. It kind of goes back to a 3-year-old conversation now, right? We're gonna work to get a grant to invest $300,000 into a property that's not ours. My question goes back to what my question was 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. What is the long-term plan for the library? If the long-term plan is to stay there, then we should be looking at these grants as a way to work with Rural Edge to fix all of the property issues, infrastructure issues that need to be fixed in order for us to take ownership and possession of that property, which was written into the lease contract that we put with Rural Edge, for us to take ownership, because all of the work that was done 20 years ago to the properties that now all fall under Rural Edge, that intent 20 years ago was for that building to be owned by the town. And so.
True, I remember all this, but.
I wasn't part of any.
Right, and I wasn't either. I was part of the lease agreement where we
But it sounds
built out a
like-
lease to pay for a property to pay for usage of a property with the, I think the end goal or the available option to purchase that property from Rural Edge for $1, I think, if I
But it
remember
got more
correctly.
complicated, and then we decided
Well,
we
it got
didn't
more
really want
complicated.
anything to do
The
with
biggest complication, that's one of my questions too, is the biggest complication with a lot of that, with that property, beyond the tenants upstairs, is the septic system is the biggest, because when they put that septic system in, it's tied all of those buildings on those shared properties together.
Right.
And my suggestion would be, again, it goes back to the question of, what is the long-term plan of the library? Is the long-term plan and intent still for the town, it's a municipal library already, for the town to take ownership of that property? If that's the case, then I would say that we should be looking at, how that, from an infrastructure, as part of that grant process, because it's a perfect way to get free money for that, is how we separate those septic systems into something that is viable for us to take, because that was the biggest complication with the whole thing.
I know, but and also I don't think that we wanna get into that much of a discussion tonight on that.
Right, no, no,
a
it's
separate
right,
thing, and it's,
but again,
There's no discussion, there's not enough room to put a separate system.
right.
right, and then and again, I mean, those are what we've
So
done.
I guess really the end thing here is what's the plan with the library? We just keep doing what we're doing with it, and that's what we pretty much had decided, that we don't want any part of the building, and we're not that's what it is. The problem is that Royal Edge should be taking care of the building and maintaining the building, and they're not, obviously. And now there's some grant money, and it's like, okay, well, we can apply for this and help
Well,
get the
and
place
again,
up.
that was part
So
of,
I don't know, it gets a little tricky.
well, but that was part of the intent of adding the lease, was we add this lease. So, I mean, Wade and I were both on the board of trustees at that point. Was let's create a lease, let's get a lease in place so that we're actually, paying fair market lease value for this property month over month, so that that money hopefully would be reinvested into improving the infrastructure of the product, of the property, with the intent, down the road, to have that property be at a place where it would be, it would be fixed up to be able to take ownership of it. Me.
So the ownership aspect was still part of those
But I-
conversations when you guys were on
We
board?
don't want to
Right.
own that building, I don't think. I thought that's what we all decided.
That was my understanding.
We don't want to own that.
Yeah, that's not so too.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there was again, the point for me is
Why do we need to own it?
whether we want to own it or not own it, the problem is the building, if the long-term intent for the library is to stay in that building, why are we not owning that building? Why are we, I mean, again, if in 10 years, the library was gonna move into its own place,
Cheaper to not own it though.
Right.
Well, had we known that it
well,
was gonna be $1.5
yes and no.
million,
Right.
maybe we could have put together plans to
right,
build a separate building.
Right.
right.
But then
Yeah,
the
so,
town
and-
would- then the town would own it, and the town.
I think this is getting a little bit more deeper in discussion than what
I mean,
we were
getting
in.
a grant for 300,000 or more to fix a building that we're using is a good thing, I would think.
It's a good
It's not
thing.
gonna
It's-
cost
it's just
us
that
any
it's a
money,
little
and it's just gonna upgrade.
disheartening that the library
A
is
building
going through
that
all
we're-
this.
And
Well-
That's gonna
kinda
benefit
not what I'm saying,
Royal
but I think
Edge,
it's a-
that
yeah.
benefits us.
So,
Per
those
se.
considerations, I don't know what the committee who reviews the grant will look at it.
And say,
And they may say, the town of Groton doesn't own this building, but it's benefiting the community and providing,
So I say-
fulfilling the aspects
Keep
of the
doing-
grant, we're still going to consider it.
go for it and see what happens, and either way, it's gonna benefit, and the tech
Right.
isn't gonna pay out.
Right, and again, I'm not trying to say that I'm not supportive, but, again, I think the question that, we've kicked this can down the road so many times, I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to deal with and address the long-term issue of, what is the plan with the library? If,
But
again,
do
if
we?
we're gonna, well,
I mean, that's.
look at every other municipal library in the state of Vermont, those towns own those properties. Again, like, that comes back to, if that's gonna be where we want our town library to be long-term, then why do we not own that property? Right, I mean, and, you know, that
I don't think we
ultimately
should
comes
get
back
into
to.
this tonight.
We don't have to go any further, I
That's
just
what I,
think,
many encumbrances issues is why we don't wanna own it.
well, then, I mean, again, and if we don't wanna own it, then I would think that our next step would be looking for another place for the library, right? But we don't wanna go down that road either, you know,
And kicked it down the road.
right.
So anyways, okay, so, okay, thank you. Okay, moving along. Zoning administrator.
Once again, Rural Edge comes up as they defaulted on fixing the roofs. They did fix one of the issues. It's been turned over to the fire marshals now. They've been in, and I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna go yet. I haven't heard back from the fire marshal. Permits are down, obviously. It's a slow time of year.
Yep.
A lot of questions being called in. We really need to get the pictures fixed.
Okay,
I know I keep harping on that, but that's something that I'm getting a lot of calls from banks and prospective buyers, and they go on, and the property looks nothing like
Right.
what they're seeing now.
okay.
So we really need to get on that somehow. I know that you had talked about 20 hours a week for someone to come in and help Dorothy. I
Right.
think that'd be excellent if you could do that.
Are we, Dorothy, where are we at with that?
I did, I gave you all a report at one of the select board meetings, and I've got down somewhere that we're nowhere with it. It's not gonna be updated until we have a new reappraisal. At this point, in
What
order to
about all the
take,
properties that aren't being appraised, that the pictures are so outdated, it's ridiculous?
it would be, when we have in 6 years or whatever, when we have a complete reappraisal, then the pictures will be updated. I've got
That's not acceptable. 6
I-
years is not acceptable. If we get 20 hours a week that we can give to somebody to go out and do 10 or 15 properties a week,
there isn't
take new
any,
pictures, get them on the website, that would be acceptable.
Which, we can't do that?
there isn't a 20-hour, I don't know what he's talking about, a 20-hour a week position. I don't know what that is. We put in, the budget that we submitted, that's going before the town is for 5 hours a month to help with, doing, building permits, measuring and all that sort of thing. There isn't any 20-hour-a-week position
Okay.
that's being added.
That was discussed.
But it
Several
keeps,
different
it
things.
keeps coming up that we need to update the, somehow
Right,
update
and
the
I did that
pictures.
whole report back in December or January, December I think it was, and presented it to you.
But that was for one, wasn't that for one?
No, that was for all of the parcels not to be updated at this, not to be pictures taken at this point. If there's a parcel that they want a specific picture taken for, then we will go and do that. But otherwise, we're talking, if we do pictures now of all the properties, it's a lot of money, I think, and I don't have that form in front of that report in front of me. And then they have to be redone when we do a complete reappraisal.
How is it a lot of money if someone goes out with a camera and a little card and takes pictures of the property? How is that a lot of money? You're paying for the person to go out and take the pictures. They bring them back to you, you read them off the card, you put them on the website. I don't understand how this is so complicated. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. From now on, I will bill the town, I will go to the prospective properties, I will take pictures of where they are now rather than 2004, and I will send them to the respective people.
So we're outdated 20 years in pictures?
Yes,
It's a long time.
yes.
And
Part of the problem was that in 2010, when they did a reappraisal, they didn't, we haven't found those pictures. They did not get recorded. And then in 2019, when they did the reappraisal, they gave us the pictures in 2 boxes, and I've done probably half of them.
Okay.
And some of the pictures that I'm taking now, I don't believe all of them even have a date on them, so, and that was all in that report that I gave you. And Dan was not here that night, so he didn't get a copy of the report.
Okay,
And I don't have it here with me, but I will get him his copy.
and I don't remember all the reports, so I don't. So we have a problem, we need
No,
to.
I'll
It needs
fix it.
to up.
I'll
yeah,
fix
but you,
We had all the pictures, physical pictures from 2019. It would just be matching them and getting them onto.
Yes,
which,
and we've got a lot of those.
Yeah, and that's what, again, I thought we had talked about having somebody for 20 hours that could just do that for us.
No, the 20 hours was gonna be, one was a grant that the
Right.
NVDA
Right.
grant
but then we
that
said,
I'm looking at was gonna be to fix the maps, and that was gonna be 20 hours total,
Now, yeah, right, just to fix the map.
just to fix the maps.
right,
Right.
And that's another whole can of worms, so I won't get into that tonight. But as far as the pictures, that's why John and I did that report and said, this is what it's gonna cost to do all the pictures now, and then we'd have to do them all again.
okay, so let's,
What's the 5 hour a month supposed to do?
They're gonna help with maybe going out and doing building inspections and some filing and maybe fixing the maps if we don't get that grant. It's an extra person. At this point, when we have a building permit, I need to then go out and measure and look at the building and whatever. And it's not cost effective for John to come here
so,
at
so
X amount of dollars.
at the end of the day, we're taking pictures and we're updating the pictures, that's it, right? So if we hired somebody, let's say, so many hours a week, we're going out and taking pictures and we're updating the pictures, person. But then you're saying we would have to re-update all those pictures when we do a reappraisal too.
Exactly. And that's what was in the report that I gave you.
Except for the physical pictures from 2019.
But we haven't upgraded for 20 years because the 2019 ones are lost.
I already know, they're in a box, sitting on the top of the file cabinet.
Okay, okay.
Because you can't, nobody knows who they are, there's no label on them.
There may be a date, but then I don't have a list of,
Unless you recognize it, then obviously if
All right,
I
so
picture
we're
my house, I would know
gonna,
it's my house.
I'll come in
but
and
not-
we'll discuss this more and see if we
Okay.
can figure out a plan to
So-
work on this.
The other
I
thing,
guess.
I guess, would be is if, when someone, so, just so I understand, so when somebody's done with their permit, right, so somebody puts in a building permit and they make an addition to their house or a change to their property, so are you going out and taking those pictures?
I'm going out and taking pictures. And at this point, the last 3 to 5 years, one of my family members has gone with me to be on the other end of to be with me so that I'm not alone out in the woods,
Okay,
and B, to be on the other end of the tape measure.
so,
And
yeah,
so this 5 hour a month person is gonna help alleviate that
okay,
problem.
so, Dan, when you get a zoning permit,
Mhm.
do you go back out and re-inspect that zoning permit?
Yes.
So, why isn't Dan just taking the picture? I mean, let me blow everybody's mind here, right? We got a zoning administrator who has to approve the permit, and he has to go out and afterwards review the property being checked. Why isn't he taking the damn picture?
I don't know the answer.
So, Dan, I think you should be taking the picture.
But it's not about the new ones, it's about the existing.
Well,
ones.
it is, it's about the existing ones too, but at the same time,
But
when
then
we've got.
somehow they need to be I need to get them so that I get them on the property
Correct,
card.
yeah, I mean, so Dan would go out to do the reinspection of the property, he would take the pictures and any measurements necessary with the property owner. He'd bring that information down to you in a report, and you upload it. And I think that, again, moving forward, it just makes sense, it doesn't make sense for us to have more people going out to look at stuff when we already have somebody going out from the town to do that already. I mean, that's just me. For the other pictures, I think, again, I can understand that there are concerns with making sure that pictures are up to date of properties, especially when people are trying to sell those properties, and I definitely understand, like.
Refinancing's a big thing.
What's that?
Refinancing's a big thing.
Right, so I guess the question would be, how can we,
I'm gonna take care of that.
right, how
I
can
will
we
take
figure
care of
out
that.
2019 pictures that need to get uploaded? How do we, how do we make that happen, I guess?
Oh, okay,
I will take care of it.
I just,
okay.
I didn't realize, once again, that this was gonna be 6 years out. That's very frustrating to me.
right, well,
So
I mean.
I will take care of it.
Yeah.
We can discuss it, we can make a plan.
All right.
How's that? Okay, good. Health officer, Dan.
Dog complaints, handling a couple dog complaints.
Okay, how's things been with the dog? Okay, this time of year, I'm assuming, for the most part. We still having the same problems with the same dogs and?
No.
Okay,
Well, that's two dogs that take a little work.
okay,
We're in better shape than we were,
okay, good. Now we can start all over with dog license and go through all
and we
that.
can start all over the process.
When are dog license due?
April first.
April 1st.
Okay,
Mark it on your calendar.
maintenance,
Sign.
We have a lot of water.
Water coming in.
in
which
there.
I looked at the other day with you and,
More now,
okay, well,
I don't know.
Bathroom installed.
we got the fire department next door. They'll have to bring over a trash pump and start bailing water out. I don't,
Better here than someone
I think
else's
it's
property.
really the weather this year and just the ground is saturated and everything's
I
a
don't know if we
mess.
should try to
Fluctuation in
pull out
temperatures.
those, I think those filing cabinets are empty. I was wondering if we should have Steve come and
Yep,
pull it out and see, like.
Are we
he
gonna
thought
use them?
Maybe
Yeah.
the water is
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
maybe they could go
Coming
to,
through that
I just didn't have them go, we
crawl
don't
space
need them.
wall.
well, if we're never gonna use them, the thing's full of stuff and,
I think they're empty, but.
okay,
Yeah, the whole room, I mean, that's been hoed out a few times,
Oh.
of what it used to look like,
right,
yes.
okay. All right. So everything's gonna be fixed. Okay,
Drainage project happens.
right, hopefully. I think the ground's frozen, water is going, it's just, there's a lot of water, it's unfortunately what's happened. IT,
I haven't heard
Okay.
anything more.
planning commission,
I know,
They're good.
okay,
Meet once a month, and plugging along.
good, okay. Ongoing grants, NEK, CUD, for infrastructure, drainage projects.
Well,
I have a couple things.
I ran into Sean at the gun show on Saturday.
You did?
He said he emailed you.
Ooh,
We talked for a good, I don't know, 5-10 minutes about stuff, so.
oh, good. Was he optimistic?
Yeah,
Okay.
seemed it.
So we got the easement back from Consolidated, which I think you're on these emails,
Yeah,
Zach.
yeah.
So I've, Carrie recorded it and I sent it back and, so
Awesome.
now I sent it to USDA and waiting for, there's a little checklist here, that USDA has to approve the bidding documents, the plans and the specs. So Nate knows to finalize all these little things. The permit is the, V-Trans permit. Nate believed it was only $100, but the guy said it's another 150, so I sent him another 150. So we haven't gotten it back yet, so this is all in works. I think those are basically it. It's not a lot that is left to do. It's just they gotta get it and then USDA has to approve it and then it can go out to bid. And Nate knows we wanna get this
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
so
I mean,
Right,
at this point, I mean, with the easement back, that's
it's huge.
a
Yeah.
huge sign that we're
Yeah.
gonna get this out, hopefully
know.
hopefully before town meeting day.
Hopefully by soon.
No, be
Hopefully
great,
by,
right,
yes,
right,
next meeting.
that'd be great,
okay,
really.
Yep,
And just one other thing, Steve got the tree grant,
okay,
so he's gonna be working with the arborist,
okay, good.
so.
and the tree warden too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
make him earn his stipend.
Do you have anything, Mike?
Yeah, I sent you guys an email about
I
a
s-
week ago.
I saw it.
USDA Community Connect grant, that went out to, some of our key letters of support people, plus, all our survey residents, so they are all in the loop on that. And NEK Broadband expects to resubmit by February 20th. This is essentially this, I guess you can call it a mistake by the USDA. It's probably gonna push the timing window out into second half of this year before the grant monies get allocated to recipients. Now, it's very competitive. We don't know if we're one of the recipients yet. But it's about an 8-month swing in terms of time frame of some of this stuff. And town meeting day, I'll talk about that a little bit so people are aware of it, and also talk about the ARPA grant, all that stuff's in the town report. They'll be updated on it. Plus any delta changes between now and then, because stuff just keeps changing.
Okay,
Yep. So that's where we're at, unfortunately. So,
okay,
Yep.
well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, nothing we can do, and hopefully it'll be a chance to maybe sharpen our financial model. We've got, NEK Broadband has good data about take rates through the end of the year, so it ought to be able to improve the financial model that goes into the USDA, and they got some other products they're rolling out too, so
Okay.
cross our fingers. That's it.
Thanks, Mike.
Community center, what,
That was what we were just talking about.
That's all part of the USDA.
that's part, yeah, okay. Which, do we need that separate and,
Well, it's separate, it's a separate one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, EV charging station.
I got an email from Dennis Casey last week, possibly the week before. Said application and many others are still under consideration. It's likely to be several more weeks before any decisions are made about the funding. So
Okay,
that's that update.
good.
Great.
Energy grant,
So that's the one on February 21st where they're coming. They're gonna start with the fire station at 8 o'clock, community building after, and then the highway. Someone has to be with them, walk them through, answer questions. They are saying about an hour and a half to 2 hours per building. Hopefully a little,
Wow,
little
I
less.
can't imagine.
I know.
I know.
Yeah, hour and a half in either the fire department or
Oh, the highway,
or the
yeah.
highway building.
alright,
So
You
here,
gotta walk
take a
around
little
20
longer.
times.
I know.
You know, they'll check out the boiler room and the
Hopefully
lights.
this is not.
Yeah. Maybe
okay,
they'll fix that, but, you know, they'll go up in the gym, I mean, see those lights, see windows, I'm sure,
right, okay.
the boiler and all that stuff, so that's in the works.
And the tree grant, we got the tree grant. So,
Yep,
do
How
we
much money
keep
was that?
tree?
can't remember now.
It's like $1,500 or something, isn't it?
I thought it was in the
I thought it was 6,000,
Oh, something to do with,
yeah.
you know, number of trees.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So do we need to keep the tree grant on there since we got the tree grant?
What's approved?
Well, could be
Updates on the tree,
updates, I
okay.
would think, Steve.
Okay.
On the trees.
No, we just got
1 foot
the
tall.
funding was just approved, we didn't do the work yet.
Okay, I was just trying to clean up some stuff here.
I'll put that down in follow-ups, we can just do it.
Yeah, follow-ups, down on
Okay.
follow-ups. Okay, open to the public and other businesses.
I guess I do have one for that. I reached out to our new town lawyer about some letters to send to the most delinquent tax property owners.
Right.
So those have been sent out, and I've heard from 2 of them already this week that wanna come in and set up something.
Good, excellent.
Good. That was easy.
Worth the cost of the stamp.
Yeah, we'll see, I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
She sent them
well,
from her, but
Right,
In her
you know,
time.
in her time, but, so she's, you know, kinda gave them a deadline, so if people don't get in touch with me, then I think we will just keep moving forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
proceedings,
To do a tax sale?
tax sale, yep. Okay. Anything else? Okay, follow-ups. I did have another, somebody I was talking to was asking about, it's kind of funny because they don't really pay that much attention, but they're asking about putting signs up, speed signs in town, and wanted to know how hard it was to get speed signs put up because they thought it would help out
It's an act of
a
Congress,
great deal with traffic and the speeds of,
not,
so,
depends on what they're thinking. I mean, and that's,
If we get,
so we still gotta somehow keep working on that, getting those signs.
what we gotta do is when the USDA, the drainage project is all done and you get Peter Welch or Bernie Sanders to come down and get them to sign off on it.
Hey, while you're
Because I
here,
think it's gonna take an act of Congress.
wanted to dig
Well,
in.
but
Speed
there's
limits.
more and more of them going up everywhere, so it's, people are doing it, and I think it's good for their towns, like everybody says, it reminds them, oh shoot, I'm not really paying attention, and I'm going too fast, and would hopefully slow down traffic.
The
But,
one on Minor Hill is gonna need some bulbs,
yeah,
a few out. Not that you don't know that you're going over the limit, cause it's blinking and everything. I'd like to see my exact speed. If it's 36 or 38.
Yeah,
How do we fix
I've
that?
never had it blink.
because it
Well, when
doesn't,
the
if you're going
Yeah, over
10 over,
45.
it won't
well, when
register.
the sheriff's here, I can send them up there and then check your speed.
Yeah.
So anyways, just, I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
whatever, it's just another thing. We have a
any-
lot of
any
grant
addition- yeah,
stuff.
any
and
additional signs,
This and that, and trying
Yeah.
to do this, but
any
that's,
additional signs along the state road right away? I mean, it starts with the district office and talking to the district,
we need somebody that's gonna just like do,
Devote
like,
themselves.
yeah, like a grant, this is what
we
you
need a grant
do,
for a town manager.
and you work on that. So
Good job for you, Zach.
anyways, like somebody like Mike or something, we could,
Yeah.
He's not doing
I can
anything.
say that I have seen there's been an explosion of those speed signs
I know,
in New Hampshire and in Vermont.
yeah.
I think I
And
went through
I guess the question is, I mean, there's a lot that has to be done to put them on the state roads. I guess the question is, is the state doing that? Like, is VSP, I mean, maybe if we know a town, we can reach out to them,
popping
but,
up in a lot of places.
yeah.
Maybe, we could reach out to another town that has them on their state and see what they did. That's not a bad idea,
Bradford?
actually.
Bradford has them.
You know what Bradford also has? A state representative that lives right in there, yeah, I
Same
mentioned
thing
that.
with
That's
Danville.
right,
Yeah.
Concord has them.
Yeah, and probably Danville's
can,
got one too, I
Right on
imagine
the
they've got
state
one, cause
road.
they have a state.
Yeah.
I've got
I've
a contact, I think he's still on the board at
Contacts
Bradford.
him.
Oh, friend, Concord.
Well, I didn't really think of, okay, fine, I'll just add it to my list.
Yep, you needed
That was-
something new.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, moving along, set agenda for the next meeting.
Select board thingy.
Select board qualifications,
Yeah.
conflict of interest policy.
Um,
Did we wanna keep the fire department discussion on there, or no?
yep, let's keep it on there.
Alright, I'll do fire department discussion, department updates.
I think that's about it. At
Maybe
this,
any update for the school
at this moment.
vote?
Well, I mean, just talk about it.
Where are we at? We town meeting, we're gonna have to start discussing town meeting, anything, good?
No, I think we've got it all, I think town
Because
meeting's all,
Warnings,
we
the
set the
warning and-
warnings and whatever,
It's all
so,
posted, it'll be in the town report when those go out.
okay. All right,
Printers will send those out.
okay. That's that. Sign orders. I need a motion to adjourn.
move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.